Hello. Last night I woke up, I don't know, about 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. in the morning, and I was having a nightmare. And my nightmare of destroying a small little town in Colombia. And I don't know what to say. I mean, I woke up, I got on the internet, I went to my couple of channels. I have two channels that are a lot to do with travel. One on travel tips, and the other one is this channel you're on right now, Global Citizen. And I deleted almost all of the videos that had any reference to this city. But it was a nightmare. And I guess what happened maybe yesterday is Santiago showed me a hotel that he is this hotel I'm in is actually buying, well, I guess they're renting another hotel. It's got like 60 rooms, and it's really a beautiful little hotel. A bunch of very unique little small rooms. They're small rooms, and it's all you really need, okay? A room that has all you really need to be happy. And I sit there and I thought I offered to make a video to help um, promote this hotel. And I guess that was a nightmare. Is I realized that I love this little city that I'm in right now, and I'm gonna have to change a bunch of habits, but I'm not going to destroy a city. Okay, and I've been thinking about my life for the last 26 years, my last and what I've been doing and trying to understand my life. And I don't I don't take life serious. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a person that sits around and dwells on the meaning of life in the not at least not in the way of thinking that I have a big influence on the world. I don't see that. I see that I'm just a normal person, and in 500 years I'll be forgotten, which is fine. Okay. But in my nightmare, I woke up and I had caused a radical problem to this culture. And the whole idea of travel, which is not my conception of travel and the conception of the rest of the world travel. I have not I have not caused the world to be a better place by me traveling. It's not true. There's nothing about my travels that has made the world a better place. Maybe I gave some people some fantasies, but it's strange how ironic coincidence to me, a god or the idea of the good gods or the things is the ironic coincidence of things coming together. So sometimes I feel like there's a force moving through my life. um, I happen to read the word Elysium, okay, and then I realized that this accidentally. There's a video on about the gladiator, and he says, "What we do in life echoes into eternity," and I do believe this. What we do in life echoes into eternity, and it's not a minor thing what we do in our lives. It's very important what each one of us does. I put, I'll have all these links. There's a link to this in the Gladiator link. But normally I would get up and say another day in paradise. And I have been living in paradise situations pretty much for 26 years. And I just finished my 26th year of living in various countries. And I've been in 114 countries, and I don't mean anything to anybody. They don't care. But Elysium in the Gladiator, he says, he has a quote. He says, "If you find yourself alone, riding in green fields with the sun on your face, do not be troubled, for you are in Elysium, and you're already dead." Okay, Elysium is a Greek word, I think, but I've been reading Henry David Thoreau relatively steady here for the last month or two. The summer in some climates makes possible to a man makes a sort of Elysium life. This is a quote from Walden, chapter Economy, and what they're referring to Elysium is a paradise, part of Greek. You had Hades in the Greek philosophy, in the Greek world, not the philosophy, which is hell, and then you had Elysium. Okay, but Henry David Thoreau was a champion of dropping the one word reference to something, and probably endeared himself with the thing. When you write something, see, if you drop one word that is a allusion to something, the people that know that word feel a sense of pride. Okay, and that's a lot of the reasons why a very great writer is a great writer is they allude to all these things, but they don't really explain it. Uh, and Elysium is defined as thing, but I'm going to talk about my failure. See, I have failed radically, and I have caused great problems to cities in a lot of ways by encouraging what I thought were the right people, but I encouraged the wrong people to travel. Elysium, I want a place called Elysium, a place or condition of ideal happiness, a type of fictitious place, imaginary place, mythical place, a place that exists only in your imagination, a place set in Greek mythology, the abode of the blessed after death. But the other day, this is one thing that startled me. On Easter, this man tells me it's a great day to do LSD, acid, and I was like, he's been to 140 countries, and 140 countries, and what you're thinking about is acid, the opposite of reality. And it's like an endless inability to be happy. And this truly is the essence of travelers. They're looking for another place where they hate their own reality, and they often travel. I've said many times the most dangerous person on the planet is a person that travels alone. Why? Because what we are doing as a person that travels alone is a celebration of only our lives. It's kind of a sort of a continual thing, and without sharing my life with the world, all I'm really doing is talking to myself in sort of like a mental masturbation. But when I wake up in the morning, I have one goal. I want to be a good boy. I'm not trying to be pompous. I kind of look at Henry David Thoreau, one of my heroes, as being to be reverent, and to be admired by the masses was really kind of good. See, he had the incredible ability to talk about a woodchuck, eating a woodchuck, killing muskrats, borrowing an axe and building a small building on a pond, and then alluding to all these philosophical things, which endeared him with the people that could never live that life. Okay. I asked my mom last night, Mom, what do you want me to do? And so I'm not going to tell people anymore where I'm at. I'm not going to say I'm in this city, I'm doing this. I might give pictures of things, but they won't be able to put it together. The only people that will ever know where I'm at are the people on my Patreons, my Patreon supporters, because there's got to be a way to stop this promotion of destroying a city. And this city I'm in, I could, if it was infiltrated with all the travelers that I have encouraged, that I have met hundreds and hundreds of travelers or people that have traveled because of me, and I wouldn't want any of them except maybe one or two to come here. And that's it. And that's sad. And so I do not want to destroy this city by trying to attract travelers. And that is going to be for the rest of my life. I'm going to stop destroying the world. I'm not destroying the world. I'm influencing people of the world to come to a place. I got to be real careful here. People get hung up on the generalizations. They can't see generalization. But again, things came together yesterday. Last night I was watching at, say 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm watching Rod Stewart. He says the first cut is the deepest. When we get our heart broken, it thinks. But you have to. But if you want, I'll try to. His words are the first cut is the deepest. But if you want, I'll try to love again. And that's been my life. I've been cut very hard. My life's been quite difficult in many times. Okay. But I've always said I'll try to love again. And when I got out of treatment center 37 years ago for alcoholism, I put a pennant on my thing, and I still have this pennant. But on one side it says balance, to keep my life in balance, and that's what I'm doing today, trying to balance it out. And the other thing, it said engage, which was from Top Gun, the movie, because engage, balance, because you have to engage. You have to try to love again, okay? But I've been studying so much and trying to understand what these things, but these philosophers, Friedrich Nietzsche said it very, very good, okay? He says, I was in darkness, but I took 3 steps and found myself in paradise. The first step was a good thought. The second, a good word. The third, a good deed. And this is how we are supposed to live. Okay, and I am so sad that I woke up in the middle of the night thinking I did a bad deed. The road to paradise is long and narrow like a razor's edge, okay? And you peel off your life like an onion, okay? So there's different layers. To try to be a good person is not just a boom, you just turn over. That's not how it works. You become steadily, daily, a better person. And I have become steadily, daily, a better person for the last 20, for all my life. But you go up and down like a roller coaster. And there's waves at times where you don't really understand what your mission in life is. My mission in life is only one thing: to be a good person, okay, and to be a good example. But Friedrich Nietzsche had it really good. A good thought, a good word, and a good deed took him out of darkness. And that is 100% true. If you do this, if you do a good deed, if you help somebody, you help yourself twice as much. Okay. But there's a delusion, a fantasy, an illusion that I am a good person. I have a delusion, a fantasy, an illusion that I am a good person, that you are a good person, that there exists a good person. It's a fantasy, guys. There is no such thing as a good person, okay? We are all, as they say, sinners, okay? There are only people avoiding being bad. And don't get me wrong, the world in general is a pretty good place. I am not going to destroy this city. I am not going to encourage people that I know that watch my videos to come here. It would be the destruction of this city, the destruction of a culture. In the movie Gone with the Wind, or the movie in the book Gone with the Wind, about the Civil War, what was gone with the wind was a culture, okay? Rhett Butler was watching, he said one time in the movie or the book, he said, there's a lot of money to be made in the creation or the destruction of a culture. And there is. But that is not being a good person, okay? But very good movie. But generally, people are good. Don't get me wrong. Generally, I've always said this for the last 26 years. People are genuinely good. They're avoiding being bad. Okay, that doesn't mean they're holy, doesn't mean they're righteous, it doesn't mean they don't lie, cheat, and steal. but they are not really looking to be bad. Only about 5% of the population. And unfortunately, I think I have attracted generally 5% of the population to travel, not the good ones. It's not been the good people. And I don't know how to change this. I worked on these social networks that I was CEO for. I tried and tried to iterations, changing, constantly evolving, trying to come up with a way to. And there was all I could see is people that are on social networks don't have a life. They're the 5% with the zero life, and they're on the social network to celebrate the fact that they want to be a somebody, but they're a nobody. And I don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with wanting to be a somebody, but it's not at the expense of pushing somebody down, okay? And that's what they do. They push people down. And that's why the cancel culture, it's all about I push you down, therefore I rise. And it's a person that wants to be a troll is an evil person, okay? A person that wants massive amounts of attention is has a personal problem. The idea that you're trying to change the world by getting everybody to look at you is a thing. I've always said it to myself, why would anybody want to be worshiped? Why does anybody want to be famous? It's really kind of an emotional problem. Don't get me wrong, there's people that get famous against all odds, not because they wanted to, because their works were so good and they did such a great thing in life that they become famous. But people avoid being. I only know one good man in my whole life. Very fortunate for me, I worked on a farm in Orland, Indiana for Emery C. Spade, aka Buster Spade. And he was a good man, amazing man. I remember shoveling snow all day one time. I went home, they had a big snowstorm, and we went around and shoveled all these old women's porches. And they were rude to us. It was amazing. So he took his loader and he cleaned out their drive and cleaned out the thing, and I shoveled the porches. And we did this for about 20 to 30 people. And then he tries to pay me, right? And he was doing this 100% free because it was the right thing to do, okay? And he had the ability. And when you have the ability and you don't do good things, then it's kind of sad. Okay, but I have had one very good person in my life. But generally, as a thing, I don't want you to leave home. I don't want you to travel. I don't want you to explore the world. I want you to stay in your local community and just keep from causing problems. Avoid making problems. Okay, the world is a wonderful place already, and there's some of these illusions that diversity is the worst possible thing on the planet. When you got two radical different cultures together, all you got is a huge argument. And right now you can see it in the world. Everybody's arguing because ever since 1960, I think the first transatlantic flight or whatever, when they started traveling commercially, it's been building up since 1960, 1970, 1980. The number of people uh, going and spreading their seed, their ugliness in other countries. Because when people travel, they travel to be a different person. They don't travel to be themselves. I traveled to be myself. I didn't travel to be a different person. I don't try to put on the clothes of another country. I don't go native. I don't try to be something. I don't try to think. But I am not going to destroy the culture of the world. A just person. I want to be the best example of a family in the thing. And people, they don't get it, but I've said many things many times, and people get really angry. The bigger the cities, the bigger the problems. Absolutely 100% true. And people that live abroad are the wanted by the law, the unwanted by the country they're in, and the hermits. The people that live abroad are not great people, okay? They are normally the negative. I was in Huatulco, Mexico last year, and it was full of people buying $400,000 homes, and they were horrible people. Sometimes the richer they are, the more horrible they are. They were absolutely oblivious to the culture they were in. They didn't care about anybody. They just wanted to take. It was total debauchery. There is no difference between rich or smart. There is no way to sit there and act like some class of travel is thing. They travel only for a debauchery reason. It's like husbands and wife, they'll go on vacation by themselves just to have affairs. But where are the philosophers? Where are the people actually making the world a better place? When I was trying to do this work in Togo, West Africa, I would sit there and I was thinking about calling an organization First Do No Harm, because it's almost impossible to help anybody. Primo non nocere. Primo non nocere means first do no harm. It's the Hippocratic oath. And obviously, the doctors, 80% of them could care less. It's just about money, okay? They want to make money, and this whole COVID-19 thing was just, in a lot of ways, just a money-making thing, as is we went to Iraq, we freed these people of a dictator. Then they turned around and made it into a horrible thing because of the desire to make money by people. But you get up every day and be a good boy. Get up every day and be a good girl. But Plato had this idea of the perfect world. And that's to be the best example of human flesh I can be. To be the best form. He's talking about a template. You make a template on what you really want. The family, heterosexual relationships is the number one relationship. Anything less than a heterosexual male-female relationship is a lesser than. It's not to say that you're supposed to attack people because they're not that way, but we have a set of ideals. I have not seen dogs having homosexual acts. Okay, I maybe they do, but who cares? The point is there's an ideal situation in the world, and the only people that are going to ever talk to me and again is pretty much my family, my best friends from years and years, and my thing. And I'm not going to tell people where I'm at. But Plato had an idea for him. Friedrich Nietzsche had this Übermensch, this Superman. Thoreau's perfect world was walking in nature. Henry David Thoreau believed in walking. Alex Garland, he made a movie called The Beach, where don't share the map. And that's what I'm telling you now. I'm not going to share the map. Okay, I'm not going to tell you all these paradise locations and have them destroyed. There's a song called Meet Paradise, turned it into a parking lot. I had a website where what I thought was a really good idea is called All the Good Ideas. And it was the idea that here's a good idea here. See, everywhere I go, there's a good idea on how to have a hotel, and there's a good idea over here, and they should share these things. But people will only do that if they're going to make money, and they won't just do it gregariously, as like a good person. I've seen very few people be good. I tried to do this chalkboard things and Mama Says things. It's like working with criminals. Everybody went for the money. Okay, I would try to make chalkboards. Next thing I know, they were putting up some chalkboards that fell down. And this is really disgusting. How do you find a good person? People that work in aid organizations, missionaries are not, it's not their goal. Their goal is to have somebody kind of worship them, okay? And this is really sad. I make a joke that when you want to help somebody, if you're really helping somebody that needs help, make sure you get your hand back after you help them, because they can bite it off. Really desperate people are really difficult to deal with. I mean, it's hard. Have I ever met a good person? One person. There's surely, if I think about it, my mom wasn't the best person in the world. My father for sure wasn't. My mom had a lot of problems, okay? I was going to go to Concord, Massachusetts for this Thoreau Society, and I realized they were not the right people for me. They were not the type of people that I respect. They were in a illusion, living on a pond by yourself, something they're never going to do. And this is the problem. I've been giving this delusion that you get to go to Lyceum, heaven, paradise. And you do get to go to the world, but then you go destroy it. Okay, and that's I take personal shame that I have created so many people that traveled. When I had this social network, I met 40, 50 in one place, and I was ashamed that they were there. The more I feel it, the more I'm so grateful I can admit not one of them was making me proud of who they were. Okay, they were embarrassing. When Wade attacked Anna for going to church, it really hurt me because I'm sitting there going, I am the organizer of this situation, and it was disgusting. I'm sitting there going, of all the things, a person that goes to church isn't meant to be just a saint. What they're meant to be is a person trying to be a good person. And this idiot here was attacking, and people stood around and watched. But it's what's happening a lot, like a lot of the Thoreau stuff on Walden Pond is just an insult to Henry David Thoreau, because Thoreau, as a thing, would not be part of an organization like that, especially had a problem with society. To call it the Thoreau Society, they should get a life. Okay, I'm not saying I want to destroy this, but I want them to get a life, and I want them to read that I'm not going to go to Concord, and I'm not going to hang around with these people. They're just a bunch of Harvard graduates that think that it's like virtual signaling. I don't believe what they're really doing is to help the world to be a better place. I would have been a philosophy major, except 90% of the professors that I met in university at Indiana University Bloomington were sad. The college professor, I sat in a room and a college professor said that we were going to have a Marxist overturn of the society, that the worker force was going to overthrow the society. And I said, what is wrong with you? Go over to Mama Bear's Pizza and drink a couple beers and talk to people. Nobody is even angry at that juncture, 1975 or whatever. Nobody was wanting to turn over the world. Right now, yeah, it's getting closer and closer all the time. We have people that are celebrating the opposite of what Plato called the good form or the ideal person, or the Übermensch, as Friedrich Nietzsche, the Superman. We have a society celebrating the worst of the worst, okay? And this is unacceptable, okay? But I said, I can't sit around and talk to these guys all day. They are out to lunch. They have no sense of reality because they live in this bubble called a university. But when I first went to travel, I went to Pia de la Cuesta, Mexico, and I was going to start a hotel. And I finally realized I didn't want to have a hotel full of people that I didn't really want to talk to. And after 26 years, I still have not figured out a way to qualify the people. How do you get a person? The only way you can get a person not to behave is to threaten their credit. Okay, if they make an application where I can destroy their credit, then they will not be a drunk jerk. Okay, other than that, you give people free rein to go live their life, and they do bad things. I could not find an ideal form, as Plato called it, the template of a person. Nobody wants to be the template of this person. The people that are missionaries are tourists. They are thinking they're doing one good deed, but really all they're doing is a very nice way of getting a tax write-off and whatever. Ecotourism, this was a big deal, 15 years ago. And Arthur Frommer said a noble idea gone astray. Ecotourism is destroying the eco environment. The idea was originally that to stop, like dynamite fishing, we create a tourism thing, so they do it. And what do? They bring thousands of people into the jungle and the woods to destroy. If you want to be an ecotourism, don't go there. Okay, an ecotourism does not go into the ecologically sensitive environment. That's it. Especially don't build a building. To build a building in there. I was in Costa Rica, and this guy had a permaculture. This is a new fashionable, trendy thing on the planet. It's where you have all your culture within the thing, and you're supposed to be living off the land, whatever. And as he's finding out about me, I stayed there for about 3 weeks. He was having these people dig trenches and footers for his hotel, and he goes, why don't you do this? I said, this is just you making money, guy. And then he tried to have me help me. He said, can you help me sell this? I said, you understand that what you're doing is what all the aid organizations do. They get people to do really nice things like help them work on a building, and then they try to sell it for profit. It's not supposed to be a business. Okay, when you volunteer, most places you have to pay to volunteer. Uh, but when Wade was attacking Anna for going to church, that really hurt me. I couldn't take it. Have I ever met a good person? Yes, Emery C. Spade, Buster Spade in Orland, Indiana was a really good person. I'll never forget, we were going down the road and there's two fat women. He goes, oh, it looks like they're ready for market. That was about as tough as he could get for calling. We put up the bell on his church in the Methodist church in Orland, Indiana, and all these old men came over, and I was like 21 at the time or less, 20, and I had hair halfway down my back, and I was Buster's hired hand, right? There was three of us. We were putting this bell up. We ground it down, and they started telling us, all these old men started telling us all the things and how he was greedy and whatever. I said, so we've been working on this thing for free. He's been paying us for the last week to grind it down, paint it, put it up. We got all our equipment out here, and he's a bad guy. When we had a snowstorm, one of these snowstorms like 1970 or something, 75, 78, maybe 1980, he bought an $18,000 snowblower to clean the town of Orland. I mean, like, you're going to recoup that, right? I want to be a good example. I want to be a good example of physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, how to be a good person. That's all we can do in life. That's all you can do. And there's no choice. But what does the devil do? And this is why I finally couldn't take it no longer. I realized it was hopeless on the social network. We were losing money for 3 years. And all it was is a bunch of fantasy people that really just wanted to go abuse people and feel rich. They didn't want to go be an inspiration to the world. They wanted to be a person that took advantage of the world. And that's what people do. When you meet rich people in poor countries, they take advantage of the people. But what did the devil do? The devil, in an idealistic sort of way, in the image of the devil, it's really simple. The devil makes two people argue. When you can make two people argue because you create a forum, a search note. When I put the comments, when I allow the comments on there, what I'm doing is the act of the devil. I'm creating a format because this is what makes money anymore. Only thing that makes money on the internet or media or news things is the sell of hate. Okay, but a social network that helps people to argue. Now, don't get me wrong, it's freedom of speech, and it's got to be freedom of speech. And people have to be, because you really don't know what good is unless you see evil. But social networks are very poor at inspiring anyone. Can I live in a great world? That is the question. Can I find my own? I can make my own little world. And I can influence the people in my world that I want to influence. And the only people I'm going to influence anymore are the people that are proving to me that they will in a way, support me so I can support them. Because I've thought about it ever since the social network closed. How can I allow people to communicate with me? There's no way. It's very scary. You're talking to people that are certifiably insane that want to live in other countries. I can find a good person 100 times easier than I can on the internet. I can make these videos till I'm blue in the face, but I could just walk around in Angola, Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I can find some really nice people. What is a good person? A good person gets up every day, goes to work, comes home, drinks a couple beers, watches sports, has a good time, and is a good father. Shares times with his children, doesn't scream at his children. I have found that the number one question that you can ask a person is, How do you feel about your mother? 90% of the people, when I ask them about their mother or their father when they're living abroad, it's like the trigger for huge anger. They're running away from the fact that they hated their mothers and fathers. And that is not my fault. You cannot associate with bad people without becoming bad. It's just not possible. The whole organizations, all the organizations on the planet, like Alcoholics Anonymous, the way you get sober is you hang around people that don't want to drink. Okay, and it's simple. It's free. Alcoholics Anonymous is 100% free. One of the most successful self-help groups on the planet. I think it's free. Okay, and you can go to a treatment center and pay $20,000 and not get sober. But we have temptations. I'll try to love again. That was First Cut is the Deepest by Rod Stewart. I am not going to destroy the city. I'm not going to help people to dream about places. See, the thing that, I'm a man, I'm single. I actually, we'll say that that's a beautiful girl, okay? Because I think beauty should be celebrated. The place where I'm working out right now is an amazing place where I joined a gym. I got my teeth cleaned here. It's a wonderful place. And there's full of extremely, when you watch somebody working out and they're doing like 100 sit-ups or 100 push-ups or, they're, it's an intensity. They're trying to be the best of the best. And it's enjoyable to watch the beauty of a human. And it's not beautiful, right now when I'm supposed to look the other way and tolerate some of these crazy things that people are talking about. It's like Candace Owen, please stop interviewing all these really, the 2% that should be ignored, okay? The only way to stop this thing, the tail of the dog wagging the dog, is to ignore these people. You can't give them space. You can't give them a voice. And we're giving them a voice, and it's become the only way to make voices. Like I was on NSNBC, and they wouldn't have anything to talk about if they didn't have Donald Trump to insult. I got like going, wow, what an organization. You have the ability to make the world a better place, and what do? You spend your whole time being destroying anything. When Fox does this, I'm trying to make a balanced way of understanding what's going on in the world. But how can I, Andy Lee Graham, make the world a better place? By being the best example I can be. That's it. That's all you can do, and hope by accident that it rubs off. And then not allow anybody that doesn't want to be a philosopher, a person that searches for the best of the best, that wants to search for the truth, that wants to really be a good person, to hang around with me. Because when you hang around with a person, I had this guy come down to San Pedro. He was one of the worst pieces of flesh I ever seen in my life. And I finally had to just cut him off completely. I was like going, what is wrong with you, guy? I have never in my life told somebody to lie, cheat, and steal and do stuff badly. And he assumed because I liked women that I always told him a lie or something like that. I like women because it's a natural thing, guys. It's ridiculous. And when somebody gets angry at me for when I'm say flirting with a girl, I think they have a personal problem. I told a religious guy, I said, what is wrong with you? This is the most natural thing on the planet for a man to talk to a woman. It's the celebration of what God wants us to do, procreate. Oh man, the world has come to a funny place, and I am not going to make it a worse place. I'm Andy Lee Graham. I apologize for the rant in a way, but I don't know what to do. Only thing I can do is give you a lot of travel tips on how most of the travel tips that really would help people to travel the world, enjoy the world, or even travel is just life at 10 times the speed. It works the same. All my travel tips they work 100% in your life. But what you have to be able to do is emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically handle the situation. When people are weighing 400 pounds, they cannot handle the world. when they are full of tattoos like a peacock and everybody's looking at them, they are not emotionally handling the world. They are in need of love. Okay, I take special care when I see a person looking like tattoos, nose rings, and everything because it's a screen for something and they need a good example. Okay, so be a good example. That's our job. My job is to get up every day and be a good boy. It's not to try to tell you how smart I am. I know I'm smart. I know I'm knowledgeable. I have to take my gifts and I have to use them. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm in, I almost said it right. Such a habit. And I want to make the world a better place. I'm still going to show the world, but I'm not going to tell you where I'm at. And anybody, the only way to get to have any knowledge of it, of course, these guys on Reddit, these guys are sick puppies. Reddit, I can't believe that some of the conversations on Reddit, they are by far insane. Quora. I mean, if you want the wrong answer, go to Quora. If you want the wrong answer, go on Reddit. I don't know of any social networks that actually celebrates the truth. All they do is make all their money by putting together two people that can propagate the wrong truth, the lies. Be a good example to your children, if nothing else. That's what the good of the people, the good people get up, they have 2 children, 2.2 children, and they have a family and they go to work every day. And the fact that they show up for work on time is the proof that they're a good person. This is about as good as it gets. About as good as it gets. In that movie with Jack Nicholson where he says, "You make me a better person." He falls in love with this girl and he says, "When I'm around you, I want to be a better person." And that is the goal of what every person should be. In Plato's world, you try to be the best possible example of human flesh. Simple. Get up every day and be a good person. Can you not lie or cheat or insult somebody for one day? Only way for you to do it, start out by just staying home. Maybe. Can you not watch all these videos of hate? I mean, it's amazing to make a decision. I have people send me videos of anger stuff, right? And I go, is that what you're doing all day? I'm worried about them, right? But be a good example and try to aspire to inspire people to be a better person. That's all you can do in life. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? Well, it's real simple because I'm emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually sound. I want you to stay home. Please stay home and make the world a better place. Start with your home. Start with your family. Start with your thing. I don't have a family. I have nieces and nephews and sisters and brothers, but I never got married. And so I'm really sad. I really would love to be married. I'd love to have 3 or 4 kids. And I would love to have a good life. I'm living the greatest of life. And I do think people are all they can think about is money. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. And we should stand up, be proud of who we are, proud of our name, and look people in the eye and say, hello, life is good. Hola, adios, gracias.